On June 27th, a 17-year-old boy named Nahel Merzouk, a French citizen of Algerian and Moroccan descent, was fatally shot by police after he was stopped for a traffic violation in his hometown of Nanterre, a suburb of Paris. While the police initially justified the shooting, claiming that their lives were in danger, conflicting accounts have emerged in the wake of the event. On June 18th, a peaceful march took place in Nanterre, but since then, tensions have escalated and more aggressive demonstrations have spread to other parts of the country. Despite the officer in question being detained for homicide, violence has spread across France. Most of the violence has been attributed to younger people, including minors from the Black and Arab communities. Nanterre has served as the center for the unrest, but pockets have spread to the north, central, and southwest regions in France. Within a span of 5 consecutive nights, France has witnessed widespread riots, which have resulted in over 3,000 arrests. In response to the riots, mayors in the affected cities have organized rallies in local town halls to condemn the violence, and so far they've had limited success. So what started the violence? Because economically, France has been in a really good place lately. Unemployment is low and foreign investment is high, and yet the country still remains deeply divided. This incident has brought to the surface the extent of racial tensions in the country. Studies have highlighted the disproportionate targeting of Black and Arab individuals. Although Nahel's killing has seen a quick legal response, with the officer in question detained, similar situations in the past have resulted in minimal action. And if I had to guess, people are probably quick to remember those past events. While it's not clear that the shooting was racially motivated, it has amplified concerns about police misconduct on a bigger scale, particularly for minority groups. And I also wonder if the global coverage of the George Floyd protest a couple years ago have contributed to motivation for these protests. The shooting has recharged debates over police's use of deadly force, with left-wing lawmakers pushing for a repeal of the 2017 law revision that made it easy for officers to shoot at moving vehicles. This law was passed in order to keep people safe after a series of terrorist attacks. To control the violence, the French government has deployed more than 40,000 law enforcement officers, resulting in severe injuries on both the demonstrator side and for the officers. And with so many of the protesters minors, French President Emmanuel Macron has called on parents to take responsibility and keep their kids inside. And he's also suggested imposing restrictions on social media usage. But personally, I'm always a little suspicious when governments use unrest in their country to push further control on people. And certainly there's a safety factor to consider with all this, but it often makes you think that there's a separate agenda going on. Like, if you were to look back at 9/11, the US government clearly used that as a justification for the invasion of Iraq. And I think it's pretty safe to say, and I think we all would agree, that they had other motivations for that invasion beyond just homeland safety. But in any case, it will be interesting to see what President Macron does next. While the protesters have been a strong voice on one side of the equation, police unions across France have voiced their support for the arrested officer, claiming that he was simply performing his duty. The unions have consistently claimed that their work has become more dangerous recently with the government's neglect of social issues, including a prevalence of illegal drugs and the absence of employment opportunities in more disadvantaged areas of the country. A crowdfunding campaign for the accused officer's family has already raised 1.6 million euros, which is 4 times more than Nahel's funding.